and welcome to Traditional Painting the Digital Way. This is where I use digital painting apps to teach traditional painting techniques. This is part 2 of my Headless Horseman series, and in this video we're going to finish painting the watercolor on the horse and the rider. If you want to follow along with traditional materials, I have a list of all the paint and the brushes and the inks that I use in part 1 of this series. I'm going to start by working on the jack-o'-lantern, and I want to go ahead and get kind of a scary looking face on this jack-o'-lantern because we don't want him to look friendly, because this is all part of the sinister look and the atmosphere of this painting. So I'm using Pure Ref for my reference images, and it's a program that you can download and it's free, and you can add your photo references in it, and you can save different groups of photo references, and you can do all kinds of different things. And it's a really nice program, and they do ask for donations just for help, but it's entirely free. So I'd highly recommend this program. It's very nice. So I went to pixabay.com and I got some jack-o'-lantern references, and I found some sort of sinister looking jack-o'-lanterns that have jagged teeth and funny looking eyes, slanted type of eyes like devil horns and things like that. And I picked those for my photo reference, and so I'm adding that onto the jack-o'-lantern here with some yellow watercolor. You might want to use gouache or something, or just make sure that you draw the jack-o'-lantern out really well before you start painting on him. So I went ahead and added those features and darkened the jack-o'-lantern a little because I want the eyes to show up and look like they're glowing. And then I worked a little bit on the arm of the rider here, and this is a photo reference that I found on Pixabay too, and I really like the costume on this rider, so I picked that photo reference because it looks really neat and flowing. And so I started working on the arms here, and the cloth really flows and is loose, and so I used a dark blue color for that, and I went ahead and just used the watercolor brushes out of the watercolor set that you can download at SketchBook Pro, or this one may actually come with the professional package. If you subscribe to the professional package, you can get a whole bunch of brushes, and you also get access to download them. So here I'm working on the black vest. I liked the black vest on my photo reference, so I wanted to make sure and put that in. And I also added a cape that is not from the photo reference, but I wanted to have that in the picture just to make it look scarier, and because he always has a cape whenever people portray the Headless Horseman. Not always, but most of the time, because it just looks scarier. And so I'm just sort of working on I was trying to move the picture, and I was working on the folds of the clothes, and all I did was manage to mess up the layer, so I had to go back and undo that. But if you can merge them down, you can use that little tool to go ahead and move the picture. And so I'm using black for the cape here on the back, and just kind of making some wrinkles and just kind of giving an indication. It doesn't have to be real detailed here because we just want the suggestion of a cape flowing out behind him. And I'm also working on the sleeves, and I like this real flowing look that the rider has in my photo reference, so I'm just trying to get that look kind of, and also get the shape of his arm inside the flowing sleeve. And that's why photo references are really good, because you can just get the anatomy correct and just go ahead and use that for your figure there. And it shows you the folds, how they lay on the person's arm, and it just makes it look correct. Whereas if you try to make it up, you might not get the arm right. So you kind of always want to have some kind of references when you're doing realistic looking pictures. And then I'm working on the leg here, and again I need the photo reference to see how the leg is shaped and how the wrinkles are as they lay over the leg, and how that makes it look 3D-ish, how you can get the three-dimensional look and the correct anatomy. And I'm using a little bit of black there to get the wrinkles to show the shape of the leg there. And if you're following along traditionally, you can probably use your round number 3 brush, just a small round brush for this. And you can just go ahead and use a lot of water for the wrinkles. Here I'm using the blending brush to give it that watercolor look in SketchBook Pro. And if you're doing it, like I said, traditionally, you would just add more water to your paint to give it a more diffuse look there. And here I'm working on the boots, and you want to go ahead and use black here and then kind of leave some of it highlighted. And that's the hard part for me, is that I'm used to working with acrylics, so I always work from dark to light. So watercolor is a completely different mindset, where you kind of have to plan ahead and work from light to dark. And so you have to figure out where your highlights are going to be first and then add the darks in. And that's kind of an alien way of thinking to my thought processes, but the more you work with it, the more that you get better at thinking on how you would work with watercolor. And here I'm working on the boots a little bit. And again, you can use gouache if you want to go ahead and add highlights, and that helps some. If you're just using pure watercolor, though, you have to plan out your highlights in advance. And working a little bit on the muscles of the horse, just kind of adding some dark shadows here to show the anatomy of the horse. And again, I can't stress the importance of a good photo reference for this, because it really helps you get your animals and your people accurately. So good photo references are a must if you want to try to get a realistic looking picture. And believe me, the people that know horses really well, they'll let you know if you've messed up. So just make sure you get good photo references and try to follow along with them. And so I'm just kind of working more on the chest of the horse and trying to get the muscles correct there, and then working on his head and the neck here. Just trying to get the correct shape of the horse. Horses are hard, so you need lots of good photo references for this. And I'm working on the eyes, and then I wanted to go ahead and put a simple bridle on here. In the photo reference, the bridle and some of the stuff is a little bit more complicated, so I left some of it out because I just want the bridle on here. I don't want all of the rigging that's on there, because I think this photo reference is of a gaucho from Argentina or Uruguay, and so I don't quite need all the different things that they have on, because that's just kind of part of their regalia that they use, and so I didn't want that. I just wanted kind of a simple bridle on him. And then here I'm kind of just working on the mane, adding darker colors to the mane, and working on the shape of the ears and his nose. Just trying to get the correct shape of the horse, and I'm smudging it in a little bit here, and you can use the fine tip blender from SketchBook Pro. It works pretty well to make a pretty good blending brush. And like I said, if you're following along traditionally, just add more water. And then here I want to work on his legs and get the right shape of the legs. And I'm just using a black color for the edge of the legs here. And I finally realized that I might as well just start using the ink pen with that. So I started to do a little bit with some of the ink pens and test them out, and you can download this set from SketchBook Pro. It doesn't come with the program originally, so you go to their blog and they have a whole bunch of brushes that you can download, or they have an in-app function there that you can just bring up and download all the brushes that they have for free. So this is the end of my Headless Horseman Part 2 video, and in Part 3 we're going to continue doing the ink and adding more details to the horse and the rider. So thanks everybody for watching. Thank you so much for your support. If you have any questions, just leave them in the comments down below, and I will catch you later.